Hello YouTube. I just want to bring in my day 3 update of the Sage build and just talk to you about how the day 3 went. It is early in the morning right now for me. I did wake up about 2 hours ago or so, 3 hours ago. I actually woke up this morning and had around 12,000 FE or 1,000 FE. Sorry, 12 or 11,000 FE that I wanted to first just spend, buy some items, figure out exactly how the build's working, what upgrades we want to do before I made this update video, because that was just sales from day 3 that I just don't want to. I just don't really like spending my fee when I'm going to bed tired and doing stupid decisions instead of doing it just when I'm more awake and more aware. So the first thing we did pick up was I did go ahead and buy myself a priceless bow and craft up a full T1 priceless bow, which was actually very expensive. Obviously I know it's going to be very expensive, but I do feel like we got kind of unlucky and went a bit above average when crafting it, which it happens. It's just going to be life sometimes. And I also tried sequencing the bow, and let's just say I wish I sequenced the bow first and then crafted it. I do think that maybe that would have been a slightly smarter thing to do, in hindsight. Because I did 3 attempts at sequencing it, which is 400 FP per attempt, and I had this. Adds 3 to 5 fire damage to attacks per 10 strength. Now, we don't use strength for our build. This is completely unusable for my build. But it's also a very rare sequence, and it might have some value. Maybe this would be sellable if I didn't already fully craft it. I don't know, it's so weird. It's such an obvious thing. So every league is oh, if you're gonna sequence your weapon, you should always sequence it first before you craft it. And I just for some reason didn't do that. I didn't even realize I was gonna use the advanced advanced sequences. It's just they're the same price as doing base mods. But other than that, we did triple fizz affixes, got very unlucky on the ultimate mod here. And then we did attack speed, gear attack speed, and additional approach damage. Now, I think attack speed eventually, I did the math between attack speed and multi-strike and it was the exact same, damage-wise. I didn't actually do the math for crit damage, because I think the answer is going to be, we are going to do crit damage eventually if you get, if you do get, more crit and stuff, crit damage is going to probably be the best one. It just seems like the best one. But I just have problems right now in the build where my crit's really low that I need to solve, and it's going to be a while before I can solve it, so when I crafted this, I literally just, did this. Start crafting it, and then I actually hit multi-strike first, and I did the math on multi-strike versus attack speed and came to the conclusion they're the same. But my damage didn't go up. I had such a small damage gain when I got this priceless bow. It was 40% more damage or something. It was way less than expected. So it's maybe there's something weird about multi-strike. I tried attack speed, it was the same problem. I still don't know what happened. I still don't know why this bow was not that big of an upgrade for me. I genuinely don't understand it. I did have max sentry quantity hit at first. It was one of my first things I clicked and hit, which was really nice. And then I proceeded to click another fucking 40 times to hit T1 additional projectile damage. Because my idea was, if I hit max projectile, max sentry quant, then I would change this Vorax out for an Ice Drinker Vorax. I would, buy the Ice Drinker's Cage, buy this as my Vorax item. But when I actually did the math on it, you get Extreme Coldness and Cage, which Cage is about 68% additional damage if you were calculated, and Extreme Coldness came out to being 30% additional damage we would gain. All of those values, as well as the fact that I would get a slightly better support than Multifaceted, wasn't actually that much better, if I'm being completely honest with you. It is definitely better than the Blade Dancer setup, but Blade Dancer is actually just really decent. There's no need to go for the Ice Drinker, even if it's technically slightly better. I'm still going to be able to reach damage cap with the Blade Dancer just fine. And yeah, this just ended up being it ended up being so close damage wise that, because this additional projectile damage mod is actually just very powerful. So I decided I'm just gonna, you know, keep rolling for this, just do the cheaper option. The other big thing, this is probably the thing that gave me the most damage, is... Oh yeah, also we have Lone Walker now. Sorry, I forgot, I bought this yesterday already. It was 9k FE, let's see if I were to buy today. Okay. 9.3k today. I bought this, there was one for cheaper, but I bought the 9k one, because that 24% aura effect, which is a, you know, 9% extra aura effect for 500 FE is like not the greatest deal, but it's not the worst. And I specifically wanted one that had when affected by 4 or more auras, because we are playing Frigid Domain, and it's not a thing anymore, but back in the day, Frigid Domain used to not actually affect you, it would just make the enemies take additional damage. And I didn't realize that like they changed this aura, and I was like thinking about that being an issue, potentially for the build, so I wanted one of 4, but then afterwards I realized, like, oh, it doesn't really matter. We are doing a triple 50% aura setup. I do think for mapping, like, I probably should change this out to, you know, swiftness, especially if I have so much damage that I don't need the damage. And I did actually do some math about things, and I came to the conclusion that if I want to run... eventually, what I want to do is I want to drop the Lich points. I want to drop Lich altogether, and instead go into, like, Ranger, for example. Because if I go Ranger, you know, I get a bunch of crit damage, I get a form of Agility Blessing generation, which I don't think we have right now. Yeah, so I get Agility Blessings from that, which would be quite nice. And I'm gonna get Keep It Up, which is the strongest, like, one of the strongest main talents in the game. You know, it's just gonna be a lot better for me, and long-term, that is the goal. To do that, though, I do need to get a bit more aura effect. So currently, I have 8% aura effect on this corner, which maybe I want to move this so that like it can get the effect of the Nether King. Because the 70% effect from Nether King is really broken, which also, by the way, my Nether King does have +1 spell level and Paralyze. The spell level doesn't really do anything, like, for me, but the Paralyze is pretty cool. I then tried locking it. I thought when you buy the lock, you could choose what to lock it on, but it just doesn't give you that choice. It's so weird. It's like, it just randomly chooses one thing to lock, and it locked the worst fucking mod. And I was like, okay, bro, cool. I guess I'm just gonna stick with this. I wanted to buy one with triple orange mod, which is like 1.3k. But then I saw that you can buy one of sealed mana compensation, and it was like 400, 500 extra, 600 extra. I don't know if it's a good span of use of my money, but I ended up just buying this, and, you know, getting Paralysis is cool. Then I bought this Goddess Divinity. I threw a lot of money at this and just never got lucky, but I got additional damage against cursed enemies, +1 to all, and then I wanted +2 persistent level and, like, another good mod. I tried a few times, and I'm just sticking with this because +2 persistence skill level is, like, a pretty good mod, and yeah, that's fine. I did pick up this phone Starlight with damage transfer, because, you know, if I'm gonna be using the minions, like, if I can transfer some of the damage at some DR, I would prefer to, like, cap out damage transfer just using my Euro trait, which is what I was planning initially. But because the Euro trait's bugged and doesn't work, like, this is just like a backup now. This trait is pretty good. It's just mark effect and additional sentry time and start time. And, like, this getting scaled up by 70% effect, like, it's really nice. The mark effect's, like, not the most insane trait at all, but I think the sentry start time is pretty nice. And then, because we can't really afford Omni Elixir this season, it's too expensive, I did buy a Fallen Starlight with Elixir Skill Gain Progress on it. And if you put it between the Nether King, you know, this is 4 charging progress. It's actually quite a lot of charging progress. Like, this completely fixed my uptime and Elixir progress, and, you know, other than that, I'm just, like, getting additional base damage from my weapons, because, you know, we are doing a Death's Touch setup. Makes a lot of sense. And then I got First Convert and Sealed Mana here, because I do kind of want to, like, drop some points here on my Prophet tree, because I crafted a Phantasmagoria. We had a 3x4, which was pretty nice. It doesn't actually matter, like, that much. Actually, no, the 3x4 hitting that was actually a substantial deal. And because of that, I put it here. So I can get 10.5% sealed money here, 10.5% sealed money here, 10.5% sealed money here, and now 3.5% here. But eventually, if I, like, drop Lich, for example, I'll get 2 free points. Or if I, you know, get Focus Blessing somewhere else, you know, we'll figure it out. Or if I just level up twice, which I'm pretty close to leveling up soon, I'll get another 7% mana in total from this, which at the moment our total mana is at 76%. I don't know if this is 75.5 rounded up or like what it is exactly, or 76%. And as you can see, we're at 1 trillion damage because I haven't shown that yet. What I do want to do is I need to get to 90% sealed mana without Lich. So if you have 76%, you minus 21.5% from Lich, we have 54.5%. So I need to find a place to get another 35.5%. Which I'm very sure the answer for that is just going to be like neck and, just like prices gear. Because if you go on a neck, you can get sealed mana as a T1 prices mod. And obviously if I make a T1 Vorax, I can go special organ and then put on sealed mana as a special organ. I'm not sure how expensive that is. That might not be completely like doable. Yeah, it seems actually fairly cheap. Probably, but mostly because people haven't really started crafting yet the Vorax pieces, like the T1 Vorax pieces. Maybe I'll like try to get ahead of that and do it sooner. Just like doing those two things would put me at 9% mana, sealed mana. Obviously, like if you do this type of setup, you can do it with your Kismets. But I would prefer to stay away from doing it with my Kismets, just because it's quite expensive and I can do other stuff with my Kismets. Like, if you want to buy Micro Fate sealed mana, these are like 400 pop. Then you also need to buy like the Star Spray, the Pact. I forgot what it's called. The Branch, I think it's called. That is not how you spell Branch. I don't remember, but the 45% one. It should be here somewhere. Let's quickly find it. Star Trail. And like these are 2k per. It's like it's just so expensive, man. Like I don't want to do things that's expensive. I already did a bunch of expensive stuff today that I don't think was worth it. Just because I had so much FE that like I felt when you have so much FE, it's really easy to spend it unwisely. And now that I'm back to being broke, I want to spend it more wisely. So that's gonna be like the progression from there and out. And I think after that point, like once I drop Lich, because obviously Lich is not a very strong tree to have if you don't need off the beaten track. Once I'm able to drop Lich completely and go into Ranger, all I need to solve then in the build is I need to fix my crit. My crit is very bad right now because we have only 400% crit damage, which is very low. And our actual crit chance is quite low, which is like, that's very problematic, especially because we're using Thirst Dew. Now, obviously, in my tree, I'm not taking any crit nodes because we're using Thirst Dew. The way you solve this is with flat crit rating. I already got that through my Euro memory, which this is giving me 148 flat crit rating. And if I just get a bit more of that, I'll very quickly like reach 95% crit, which is good enough. Don't need to be like that much more insane than that. And then just crit damage, I mean, the solution is just going to be probably getting it on my bow. There's nowhere else really in this build where you can get crit damage just because of the way it's set up. And then, yeah, I think at that point, we're going to be like pretty damn good on damage. And from there on out, it's just going to be like getting full prices gear, and we'll see if there's like anything else in progression I'm forgetting. Obviously, eventually we could fit in a prairie here. Like, this is literally set up for a prairie. Like, if you replace this with Fallen Starlight, and you just flip this around, you have a perfect prairie slot, which is going to copy a max Divinity 1. That's not good. Obviously, has to fix that. But, like, this can be copied, this can be copied, and this can be copied. So, it's not that bad to fix. It's going to be slightly annoying, though, because I do kind of want to put the sealed mana, like, in here. So it's also giving me aura effect through the Lone Walker. But it's not, like, the biggest zone in the world. And that's just the current state of the build. Those are the things I've done. I'm feeling pretty happy with how things are looking. Like, this is obviously only 1 trillion with pretty good gear, but this is also using Fellowship. If you actually use, like, the Arrow Einherjar, like, advancement support, this one is, like, the really good one that, like, people actually use in endgame. And it's, like, still so cheap to, like, buy. Like, I don't know. It's actually, it's such a nice character. This is one issue I need to figure out. I need to figure out what am I going to replace Preserve of Eternity with for damage when I want to push for damage. If I do Red Umbrella, this Paralyze doesn't really do anything, so then I just have a pet that is giving me 1.04 times 1.12 times 1.14 on nearby enemies. Oopsie. And that's not very good, and also it's conditional, 30% additional, not very good, and it's also only on nearby. I can do Poised Omen, which is going to be 1.04 times 1.16. Like, that's actually just completely trash. And it's like every pet that I look at is just like not very good. None of them are really standing out to me as being a super good option for like damage. Either they're very conditional or they're just kind of sucky. I mean, I guess if you really want to do something, like, I could just go for like a flower spray, but the problem I have with like distant nearby enemies and stuff is I do want to be close to enemies, but I won't always be on top of them because I need to be within 8 meters to curse them. So it's gonna be an issue, but we'll solve it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Go watch the live stream. When this video goes live, I am live. I play this game every day. I stream this game every day. You can watch me on YouTube or Twitch or Kick. Bye.